crowd.
So we are here with Mr. Rouse, and now I'm going to ask him some questions about social media. How does kids using social media affect your job, and how do you handle students?
It affects my job because oftentimes things happen outside of school. They'll happen at night or on the weekends, on social media, but it doesn't stop there, so it comes into the building. And so it affects my job the second it comes through the front doors of RMS. So if there's a negative thing that happened online the night before, kids come in, kids are upset about it, I need to work with the kids on that. And sometimes counselors get involved, sometimes teachers get involved, oftentimes we have parents that we communicate with as well, so we try to work through that stuff during the day.
Okay. How much time do you spend dealing with kids and social media?
Oh, it's hard to put a number to that, I would say, but each week, Mr. Spielman, our assistant principal, and I spend a fair amount of time. He probably spends more than I do. My role more often is just talking to kids about it and, trying to get them to see that just because you're behind a computer screen doesn't mean you can say whatever you want. But Mr. Spielman definitely spends more time than I do in any given week on that. I wouldn't say every day we spend time with it, but definitely every week, several times a week, we're talking about something that happened online.
Okay, so what can we do to help the social media problem?
Well, I don't think social media in and of itself is a bad thing. I mean, it's just kind of the way of the world these days, and so it can be a very positive thing. I think the important thing to remember is that we have to be responsible. Like I said before, it's not just because you're behind a computer screen at your house that you can say something to somebody behind another computer screen at their house, because it still affects us as people. We still have feelings. Things still bother us big time when somebody says something bad about us. So it's a matter of, responsible use. So I think what we can do is just to continue to educate the kids and each other and make sure that we are using those tools responsibly. Because like I said, a lot of positive things happen online as well. So just need to be responsible about it.
Hey RMS, so when you've been walking in the hallways, maybe you've seen posters that have pictures of emojis on them. Those are just a friendly reminder to kind of keep the voice level down a little bit in the hallways so you're not interrupting classes that you're walking past. You can still talk, just try and keep it lower. Thank you.
Hey RMS, I'm here with Ms. Grunson today. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm here to ask you some questions about the hallway. So, one, what do you think about the hallways?
Well, I think right now the hallways are very quiet, but during passing times and after lunch, especially right in this area, people get done eating and it gets extremely loud as they're coming out of the cafeteria.
Two, what do you think we can fix in the hallways?
Well, I think if we just are always aware that other things are going on, and when we're walking, if we're talking to our friends, we use our inside voices instead of our louder voices.
Three, why do you think it's important to always be quiet in the hallway?
I think it's important for a couple reasons. One reason is there are classes going on quite often, and when you're walking by talking, it's going to interfere with somebody in that classroom paying attention to the teacher. And they won't learn as much. And then even more importantly, if ever there was an emergency where they made an announcement and people needed to hear it, maybe it's a medical emergency even, then we needed quiet in the hallways so people could hear the announcement, or maybe someone's grandma's going to pick them up after school and they need to hear that too.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just hope that people will remember to be quieter in the hallways and that they have a good day every day.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm here with 7th grade ELA teacher, Mr. Grant, and we're going to be talking about the hallway. What are some bad behaviors you notice in the hallways?
Noise, lots of loud voices, and it's because there's so many people, right? So many people in our school passing at one time a lot of times, then it's very tricky because you've got a lot of voices. So what we need is people to use low voices when they're in the hallway. A 0 would be like a whisper. Or no, excuse me, a 0 would be silent. A 1 would be a whisper. So we're not even asking for a 0 or a 1. We're asking for a 2, with just as a normal conversation voice in the hallway. The people who are yelling, doing weird noises, things like that, that's not okay. That's unacceptable. And as staff, we're going to be looking for people who are doing it well and celebrating that with them. And then you're probably going to notice more people getting pulled aside by teachers for referrals. Starting probably with minor referrals, but then it's documented when students have had trouble and been talked to about the hallway, so that then if it happens again, then we know you're doing it even though you've already been talked to. Also, the crowdedness is hard because, again, so many students. So when we've got intersections or people turning, it gets really cramped, but I've noticed that getting better with the year, but still room for improvement. No pushing, no hands-on, just do your best to flow through the hallway safely and smoothly.
Why do you think it is important to be idyllic in the halls?
Idyllic. 8th graders, I hope you know that word, and for those of you that don't, it means peaceful. It's out of respect. So even if it's during the school day, you know that classes could be in session because of our block schedule. So it is out of respect for education. But even if it's after school or before school, it's important to show respect for the building, just like you wouldn't walk into a grocery store or a shopping mall and be yelling and talking really, really loud. That'd just be weird. So in the school building, that's the same case. It's a public building. So again, before school, after school, just quiet. No need for yelling, all of that. Just calm, cool, collected, do your thing. Visit with your friends, but do it quietly.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just, it might be good for teachers to prepare students for going out into the hallway. And, you know, most teachers, I think all teachers, expect that they're the ones that dismiss the class, not the bell. In my room, I do something called Silent for 3. And then what the students do is we get ready, we stand, we push in our chairs, and then we have silent time for 3 seconds. And then they're calmly dismissed into the hall. So maybe we can help students remember to be quiet in the hallway. But then also knowing that around the building there's reminders, the quiet emojis, you know, just as a reminder, just to, you know, politely remind you that this is a public building and you need to have respect for the building and education.
Thank you. Hello, RMS. Today we're going to be looking at the results of the social media use survey that you did in math. So as we look here at what grade are we in, we had 30 teachers answer, as well as most of the other grades. Do you use social media? 88.1% of us said yes, well 11.9% said no. And what kind of social media do you use? Most used is YouTube, second is Snapchat, and Instagram is third. Well, the least people said none of the above. How many hours a day do you use social media? Most people said they use it less than 1 hour a day, which is expected. How do you access social media the most? Most people said they use their smartphone, while others do use their computer, their tablet, or other. When do you turn your social media off for the night? Most people said right when I go to bed. And some people said that it wakes them up in the night, or a half hour before bed, or 1 hour, or 2 hours. Do your parents/guardians regularly check your social media accounts? Most people actually said no, and less people said yes, which is different. Have you ever felt like you've been bullied / harassed on social media? Most people said they have not, but a few of them said they have. Have you seen other people being bullied, harassed on social media? Now more people have said yes, and less people that had said last time said no. But there's still more people who said no than said yes. Have you seen other people bullied, harassed on social media, and what have you done to prevent / end it? Most people said nothing. Other people said they stood up to the person doing the harassing, and the least people said they told someone at school. Thanks for listening. We have Mr. Leonhardt here to tell us a couple things.
Yeah, thank you, Matthew. This data is going to be used to discuss with Detective John Clawcut, who came in and presented last year for our internet safety presentations, which again I want to put a plug in. That's going to be the week of December 12th through the 16th. So stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, RMS students, for watching this video. Bye!